See how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. With me, you know that.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Steven, we got Artur, we got Michael, we got Ryan, Jameson, another Michael, Kevin, Jake. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here. Up and foremost, do me a huge favor, smack up the like button here on your way in, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a brand new week. Today, we are not officially done with week 4, but we saw a lot of the games that we ended up needing to see that kind of has to affect the Arizona Cardinals and the NFC. We do got a doubleheader today on Monday Night Football, but it all has to do with the AFC conference with the Jets versus the Dolphins, as well as the Bengals versus the Broncos, which, it doesn't really affect us in any type of way. But as of right now, we do kind of know where the standings are for the NFC. Got a lot of big storylines to talk about. Jackson Dart getting his very first win over a prior to week 4 unbeaten Chargers team. And I'm not going to lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, I was so high on Jackson Dart. Obviously, I wasn't going to go after him for a first round pick, but I did like I would have loved the Arizona Cardinals to potentially look his way if he fell to like the third round. Definitely. But yes, we're going to be talking about Jackson Dart, what he did. There's also a superstar wide receiver that unfortunately ended up going down and is done for the season. There's so many things to talk about here. Like I said before, smack the like button, subscribe. We are on the road to 18K. Cannot do it without you guys. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about what we ended up seeing in this game. Sorry about that. Okay. I don't know what happened. Okay. I apologize about that. I think my camera just went off. I didn't check to see if it was unplugged. We are back. I apologize. Technical difficulties on a Monday morning. But without further ado, I apologize about that. Let's go and get started, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about here today. And it all surrounds week 4, right? So let's talk about the big storylines. One of them being the fact that Malik Nabers is now done for the season. We ended up seeing the official report here from Adam Schefter, as well as Ian Rappaport. Everybody ended up coming out and providing this report here that Malik Nabers is indeed done for the season and has a torn ACL, which is very, very unfortunate. This is a young wide receiver that actually has proven that he can do it in the NFL. And people already had him somewhere in the top 5 when it comes down to top receivers in the NFL, which is a little crazy, but he's been playing very, very well. Has given the opportunity and just kind of ran with it. Very, very good, young, talented guy. And unfortunately, he is done for the season. And I know why we're talking about him is because he's a very good wide receiver. And there's a lot of Cardinal fans that are always talking about we should have gone after him compared to Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think anybody really ever suspected, Malik Nabers was going to get hurt. Unfortunately, he did miss a couple games in his rookie year. There was some, injuries. He's always kind of floating around the designation of the injury report. Since he's been in the NFL, he plays with his head on fire. He throws his body around and he makes plays. He makes plays. So unfortunately, he's done for the season. But one thing that Giants fans got going for them right now is they got their first win with Jackson Dart. Man, I don't know about you guys, ladies and gentlemen, but this kid looks pretty darn good. Now, they also do got Cam Skattebo there as well, which is another guy that, Cardinal fans wanted the Arizona Cardinals to end up going after. Cam Skattebo ended up leaving this game with 25 carries, 79 yards. Jackson Dart through the air hasn't been it wasn't like a crazy game. Like he wasn't having like 300 yards or anything like that, but he ended up finishing the game 13 for 20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. He did enough. He absolutely did enough to end up dethroning the, at that point, undefeated Chargers. So, this is going to be something that I want to keep my eye on as well, because at the end of the day, Jackson Dart, got his first win But not just that, he did also carry the ball 10 times, 54 yards, and a touchdown. So he looked good. He looked really, really good. And like I said, I really did like him as a prospect myself. I wasn't going to touch him with the first round pick myself if I was Monty Ossenfort, but this is probably the one quarterback that I was like, oh man, this is going to be very, very interesting to see where he goes, but lands himself in the Giants and get his first win with his very first start. So kudos to him. Kudos to the Giants for getting their first win on the season and knocking down the Chargers. Now, let's continue to talk about what else happened in the NFC West. I don't know if you guys know, ladies and gentlemen, but around the NFC West, the 49ers ended up losing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And guess what? There's now a lot of 49ers fans talking about, oh man, eh, they're talking bad about Brock Purdy. They're talking about bad about Brock Purdy. Now, there was a report that came out earlier this morning that he's indeed dealing with another toe injury. Yeah, Brock Purdy gets his first loss coming back after missing 2 games. And guess what? Yes, Mac Jones is 2-0 from his starts of being the quarterback for the 49ers. And now that he's not starting, this is going to be creating a lot of animosity amongst 49er fans. I'm already hearing the chatter about Mac Jones should be starting over Brock Purdy. That's not my decision at the end of the day, but yes, there is a report that came out that says that he is dealing with that toe injury that was nagging a couple weeks ago. How convenient, right? How convenient. But yes, shout out here to Cam Inman of X says this: 49ers Kyle Shanahan said Brock Purdy complained with some soreness with his toe this morning. He didn't indicate that it to me during the game. Talked to him on the phone last night and said it was starting to bother him, but nothing during the game. Huh. Weird. So we might be seeing a lot of turmoil with the 49ers, being the fact that Brock Purdy is now 1-1 in the season. And Mac Jones is 2-0. So, let's blow it up. Let's blow it up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's blow up this 49er fandom over there because, man, they got a lot to talk about when it comes down to it. But the NFC West, in a nutshell, right now, the Cardinals are at the bottom of the division at 2-2, which is very, very unfortunate. We are going to talk about what we've learned from this team. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. That's probably most likely why you clicked on this video, in terms of what we learned about this team. But right now, the Arizona Cardinals are sitting at the bottom of the division at 2-2, which is very unfortunate. The 49ers are sitting at 3-1, already with 2-0 record within the division. They took down the Seahawks. They took down the Cardinals. And then the Seahawks are sitting at 3-1, and the Rams are sitting at 3-1. So, not a good start for the Cardinals. Right now, we are riding a 2-game losing streak. We got a potential get-right game coming our way with the Tennessee Titans. But I'm going to be real with you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what this team is. I don't know what the Arizona Cardinals are going to be looking like against the Titans. We've seen them against the Saints, which is already a 0-4 team on the season. We've seen them against the Panthers, which is already a 1-3 team this season. So I don't know. I don't know what the Arizona Cardinals are going to be, right? I really don't. Do they have enough to stay within this division race? Well, I mean, so far with this 4-game sample size that we've seen, no. I mean, the biggest eyesore, the biggest issue that I'm seeing with the Arizona Cardinals is the offensive side of the ball. And they have not been dealing with as many injuries as the defensive side of the ball. I think it would be kind of easy for the defense to say, oh, we have all this struggling, it would be easy for the defense to come out and say, oh, look at all these injuries we're dealing with, right? Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, they started on IR or the PUP list. B.J. Ojolari is not here, right? We just lost Garrett Williams, Sean Murphy Bunting at the beginning of the offseason. Starling Thomas the fifth. There would be so many excuses to put for the defense, but you got to give credit to where credit's due. The Arizona Cardinals defense has come out here and shown that they can be a team that can help you win games. They can. They absolutely can. The offense on the other side of the coin, they are bad. They're not good, man. I don't know what the Arizona Cardinals can do to fix it, because it almost kind of seems like this whole organization right now, they're kind of grasping through straws. They don't know what to do to fix this team, or unless they do know what to do to fix this team, but nobody's doing anything to fix it. That's the problem that we're dealing with right now, right? The Arizona Cardinals fan base, the organization, we're all kind of getting to the point where we're starting to point the finger of Jonathan Gannon, which, let's be real, before the season started, there was a plethora of people coming out saying, ain't no way that Jonathan Gannon is in the hot seat. Ain't no way. But now, with the comments that Jonathan Gannon came out and said, and on top of that, he's putting all the blame on himself, now people are coming out and saying, okay, well, if you're not going to fix it, then your head's on the chopping block. And let's be real, it's easier to get rid of a coach, head coach. It's easier to get rid of an OC as opposed to getting rid of a quarterback that currently right now is still has the fan base split, right? You ask any Arizona Cardinal fan out there, what's the issue right now? There will be a plethora of excuses for this side. There will be a plethora of excuses for that side. So there's no real clear-cut answer as to what the Cardinals can do to fix this issue that we've been dealing with. And here's the thing. They've been dealing with this issue since last year. It's only been such a big blow up because this year's expectations, right? This year, the expectations have settled down to say, okay, this is the time that you need to win. This is the time right here that you need to come out and show that year 3 of rebuilding, you are that team that you've been kind of getting to this point. So far, what I've learned is the offense isn't good. Another thing I've learned is we're probably a good team against bad teams, right? Panthers, the Saints, which, let's be real, even those games were really, really close because the offense can't put away teams. We go against some competition in the 49ers and the Seahawks, and although we lost by 1 possession on both games, this team can't close out teams. They can't, right? And then we're looking at the coaching staff. Jonathan Gannon, what are you going to do to fix it? Well, everything's on me, right? Well, we're in the business of solutions. Well, the solution hasn't been able to be found so far, right? There's only one undefeated team right now within the NFC. Only one, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles, which ended up beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the weekend, which was a good game. It almost kind of seemed like it was not even close. The Eagles were running away with that game. Kudos to to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers for making that game a little closer than it should be. But Philadelphia Eagles 4-1, San Francisco 49ers at 3-1, and they already have 2 division wins under their belt, so that's why they're up there. Detroit Lions, they look to be struggling in the first game, but they turned it right around. The Buccaneers at 3-1, Seattle Seahawks at 3-1, the Rams at 3-1, the Green Bay Packers 2-1-1. I don't know if you guys saw Sunday Night Football game, but it was points, overtime, and it's a tie. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But the Green Bay Packers 2-1-1, the Vikings are 2-2, Falcons are 2-2, the Cardinals are 2-2, and the Chicago Bears are 2-2. And then you can look to see who else, where everybody else is under there, right? The Cardinals are potentially 1 or 2 losses away from being where they're at right now at the number 10 spot within the conference standing to being at the 16th spot. You got to beat this Tennessee Titans team. And not just that, right? I'm not just looking for a win against Tennessee Titans. I'm looking for this get-right game where this offense can finally get their SHIT together. Like, that's what I'm really looking forward in this game. Like, I'm looking at this game right here, right? Tennessee Titans versus the Cardinals in week 5, right? There should be no reason, no way in heck the Cardinals do not embarrass this team. There should be no reason. This should be a team that should wipe the floor with the Tennessee Titans on paper, right? On paper. Are they? I don't know. I really don't. This offense hasn't given me the feel good. This offense hasn't given me the ability to make me think that this is going to be any different than what we saw in the first 4 weeks. Now, if the Cardinals can do what they did in the last few drives in the fourth quarter in week 4 on Thursday Night Football, then I think we might have something. But that's the problem. Why are we really looking at the small sample size in the fourth quarter and saying that's our solution right there? Well, it could very well be our solution, but why wasn't this a solution earlier versus the San Francisco 49ers? Why wasn't this a solution in quarter 1 of the Seattle Seahawks? Why did it take this long to see a little bit of a competency in our offense? Why? I don't get it. I don't think I ever will. But we got the Titans and we got the Colts. And guess what? The Colts aren't going to be an easy win. No, ain't going to be an easy win. So we could be a team that's riding the 500 mark. We really can. Cardinals need to take care of business here in week 5, and they did not allow themselves any wiggle room because of this offense. They can't get their stuff together. Now, we got some people in the chat here. Humble Rumble saying Walter Nolan's coming back soon. Yeah. I mean, we're at least the 4 weeks are done. So if we hear some news about Walter Nolan, which I did hear from my guy Donnie Durham from SI, he ended up saying that Jonathan Gannon will be speaking later on in the day, more of the afternoon hours. I believe he said around 2:45. So maybe we will be getting some updates about these guys that started on the PUP list. Maybe we're going to start seeing them practice, right? But also keep in mind that just because they're practicing doesn't mean they're going to be activated, right? So what happens is if the practice window opens, they got 21 days to make them active on the 53. If they're not active in the 53 within those 21 days, then they're riding the IR for the remaining of the season. So this is officially the week the Cardinals can, or actually not today, but tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is officially the day that we can, because that's when week 5 actually technically starts. The practice window could start happening. But last we heard from Jonathan Gannon is that things are trending in the right direction, but we just really haven't heard anything other than that, right? JG has been very, very keeping things close to the chest. Hasn't really kind of given us very much information. What I'm really looking forward to is hopefully Will Hernandez coming back soon. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Will Hernandez coming back soon. Will he? I don't know. Same situation. Same situation. Will Hernandez did not hit the IR or the PUP list before the start of the season. He was on this roster, but unfortunately, we just have not been able to see very much of Will. So around the NFC West right now, it's 2-2. We're the bottom of the division. There's 13 games left. So yes, can the Cardinals technically go 15-2? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Will they? Yeah, well, probably not. Probably not. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's continue. Let's stick with the chat here, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan in the chat says, why does everyone freak out? Well, I mean, did you ask this same question last year, Ryan? Did you ask this same question in 2023? Freak out is inevitable. Please keep in mind that this is not something that is exclusive to the Cardinals, unless you only watch Cardinals content. Please keep in mind that there's a freak out going on with right now at the 49ers fandom. Please keep that in mind, that there's a freak out right now at the 49ers fandom. They don't know who's going to be their quarterback. Brock Purdy is 1-1. Mac Jones is 2-2. You know how much freak out was happening when the Lions ended up starting 0-1? There was a lot of freak out. So it's not just the Cardinals fan base that's freaking out. Also keep in mind, the Cardinals were within reach of striking and taking advantage and being within this NFC West race. And right now, the Cardinals are in the bottom of the division. Now, it's only week 4, and a lot of things can change from 2 weeks from now. A lot of things can change, absolutely. But for the people out there that are quote-unquote freaking out, I mean, I think they have some sort of right to freak out because this offense has not been able to show that they are competent enough to get it right. Sarah in the chat says, get Shador Sanders. I don't think they will. I think they're going to ride with Kyler Murray until the wheels fall off. Let's go with Maul. What's up, Mauls? Mike, it is confirmed that Gannon was calling plays in the fourth quarter. Mike, is it confirmed that Gannon was calling plays in the fourth quarter? I didn't hear that. I never even heard that. I would love to hear who said that. If that's the case, I'm curious either offensively or defensively. Like, I personally never heard that, but I don't know where you heard that. Let me know in the chat, Malls. Edgar in the chat says Ryan is probably like 12 years old. That's probably true. That's probably true. Ryan is probably. Yeah, probably. Because I see him saying, calm down, bro. that can be a very real possibility. if you're not having at least a little bit of a worriness to it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But there's a lot of big time personalities out there. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I'm looking at an article right now. From Donnie Durham of SI, and this is from Stephen A. Smith. And it's titled, Cardinals Have Reached Their Ceiling with Kyler Murray. So keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that this is an issue. This is an issue. There's big questions around Kyler. And keep in mind, this game could have been decided between 2 or 3 or 4 plays. Like, that's how close this was. This was a very, very close game for the Cardinals to potentially get the W against the 49ers and as well as the Seahawks. This is such a close game. We lost by 1 point. 1 point versus the Seahawks. No, I'm sorry. We lost by 1 point versus the 49ers, 3 points by the Seahawks. I apologize. That's on me. 1 point by the 49ers, 3 points by the Seahawks. This game could have been changed if there was 1 or 2 plays made differently. Elias in the chat says 8 straight losses to Seattle spanning for 4 years. Last place in the NFC West with the loss to the Niners, missing Purdy, Kittle, Jennings, and Ayuk. Kyler's career with winning percentage below 500. No playoff wins. And that's not even to mention that. Kyler Murray's record within the NFC West is downright horrible. I'm sorry. It's horrible. Kyler Murray's record within the NFC West is 8-23 now. And that's including the playoff game. Where we were just horrible. Within the NFC West, Kyler Murray is 8-21. Sorry, it's 8-23. Guys, that's not good. That's not good. That's terrible. That's downright embarrassing. And here's the thing, right? I don't want to be right. One thing I've said that I'll say, I don't want to be right. But I've been talking about this for over a year now. I haven't made a big deal about it because I understand how this fan base is, right? You go against the QB that everybody's so enamored with, especially a lot of this young crowd that probably became Cardinal fans because Kyler Murray became the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. There's a group of Cardinal fans that don't know nothing more than Kyler, right? And those are the guys that mainly consume content. Let's be real. So I understood it from the moment he came back when he went, what is it, like 2 win? When he came back for the 8-game stretch and it was year 2. No, it was year 1, right? Year 1 at Petzing. He came back after Dobbs and he went like, what, 2 wins? 3 wins out of the 8 games that we had? And then the next year, he was fully healthy. Winning the division, 6-4. Things were looking good. The bye week came up and we just did terrible. 2-5 after the bye week. Now we're sitting here in year 3 of Kyler with Petzing. Not full year 3, but you know. And now we're sitting at 2-2. But you can't ignore these things that are out there. Kyler Murray is 8-23 against the NFC West opponents since he's been the quarterback. That ain't going to get you NFC West divisions. That's not going to get you it. Now, is Kyler Murray one of the best quarterbacks we've had in this organization? Oh, of course, yeah. Kyler Murray is also probably top 15, top 16 quarterback in the NFL. These guys don't grow on trees. That's why it's so hard, the situation that we're in right now. Because you can't just drop them and say you're going to get better. You can't just say, I'm going to put Jacoby Brissett in and we're going to get better. No. If the Cardinals were smart enough, which obviously they're not, they would have planned for a contingency plan, like I was saying all last year. The contingency plan that we ended up making this offseason was we need to give you a real suitable backup quarterback, which I'm happy with. But the plant wasn't, the seed wasn't planted. The seed wasn't planted of, okay, well, what's the future after Kyler? Every single year, you need to start thinking of that. Every single year, from here on out, If Kyler Murray is your quarterback in 2026, 2027, every single year you need to go into the draft saying, okay, I like this quarterback. I'm going to use a high draft pick on him, and we're going to develop him. That's what the Arizona Cardinals should have done this last offseason, like I've been saying. Because guess what? If Kyler Murray can get this fixed, and we can go into a winning record, right? Let's just say we live in a world where we're going to somehow win, right? Then good, okay. But you need a contingency plan. I love what the Eagles did with Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. I love what they did. Philly fans didn't like that, especially when it first happened, because it was so unknown. It was so, what are you doing? But that's what you got to do. This is a cutthroat business, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, Kyler Murray's not producing to the level that he is getting paid to produce. You're supposed to win within the NFC West. You want to win a division title, you got to win within the West. And right now, Kyler Murray has not proven that he can do that consistently. Now, we got 13 games left. 13 games left in the season. Will we beat the Titans? I mean, I strongly believe we can beat the Titans, but I also did strongly believe we can beat the 49ers and we can beat the Seahawks as well, right? We should beat the Titans. The Colts, I don't know anymore. I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do against the Colts, right? After the Colts, we got the Packers, and then we got our bye week. So we got 3 games that you have to going into your bye week above 500. You got 3 games that you need to going into your bye week above 500. Ideally, I would love the Cardinals to go 3-0. I don't think the Packers are as great as we all thought they were going to be. But we got the Titans, the Colts, and the Packers. 2 home games and 1 away game. We're going to Indianapolis. So we need to find something. Something needs to be put out here. A seed needs to be planted that we are thinking of the future. And right now, it's still very, very unknown and gray right now. Still is. It still is unknown and gray of what the Cardinals are going to do. So, do I want Kyler to succeed? Of course I do. Of course. But not at the expense of us constantly losing or not being able to win big games. Shadow in the chat says Cardinals should have won all those games. The Cardinals shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean, that's the margin of the NFL. That's the margin of the NFL. I don't think anybody's going to come out here and say, well, the Cardinals should have won those games. Here's a playoff ticket. No, you either are a playoff team or you're not a playoff team. But I get what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying, Shadow. They were so close. They were so close to winning those games. But that's the difference between playoff team or not a playoff team. And those 2 games that you dropped were crucial. And right now, this team offensively has not proven that they are probably a consistent enough playoff team. I'm going to be real. I don't know if we can beat the Rams twice. Maybe split. We obviously know we can't beat the 49ers twice. We can't beat the Seahawks twice. We've proven that already. The only thing that we can hope for is a split. It's the only thing we can hope for. We can't hope for their backup quarterback to play in the 49ers because we know their backup quarterback ended up beating us. So this right here is a situation that I've been saying for over a year now. I was hoping that last year was going to be the big year, that the Cardinals were going to be making some sort of decision, and now bleed it into this year. But now Jonathan Gannon has to also look in the mirror. Guess what? There's a portion of the fan base that does not want you here, Gannon, because their refusal of making a decision. But you also got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if Jonathan Gannon makes a decision to fire Drew Petzing, what is it really going to accomplish? Are we still going to be rolling with the same offense that they've learned all these 3 years? And just situational play calling is going to be better with somebody else, an inexperienced guy that we're probably going to elevate? Like, what's going to happen? Or are we going to get another OC that potentially gets fired from the Miami Dolphins? Right? That's what people are saying. Oh, hire Mike McDaniel. What's going to happen? We're going to hire a new guy, and then new excuses. Oh, well, we need to learn the playbook. We got to give him a year to learn the playbook. No, It's just more excuses. That's all it is. The Cardinals made their decision. They're rolling with the guys that they currently have. They made a decision. They're rolling with Petzing. Now, halfway through the season, if this continues, will he get fired? Probably. I don't know. Probably not. But in a real world here, this is a big problem. So, for my people out there, right? Shout out to my guy Ryan. Shout out to my guy Ryan here. Some people think that it could take 8 weeks to figure out what this Cardinal team is. No. you wait 8 weeks. Guess what? That's halfway through the season, or a little under halfway through the season. Your bet is made or it's not. We know this organization, this Cardinals organization, usually doesn't do good in the second half. It doesn't. But let's call a spade. November, December football is when this Cardinals team shrinks. It happened in Cliff Kingsbury's era. When we went to the playoffs, we got back-ended into the playoffs. Let's not forget that, right? We all know what happened in year 4. Lost the locker room. Everything blew up, right? We all know that. So what have we learned? I don't want to say same old Cardinals, but as of right now, that's the stigma. Same old Cardinals, unfortunately. This team hasn't proven that they can indeed win on a consistent basis. It's the truth of the nature. People don't want to look at it. People don't want to admit it, but it's the truth of the nature. And then you're looking around the NFC, right? And then you're seeing Jackson Dart perform. Not great, but he did enough to get his team to win, right? Giants, Carolina, Cardinals right now sitting at 2-2. We got a team here that we can beat on paper. We do. We got a team right here that we can beat on paper, the Titans. But we're going into this next week thinking to ourselves, damn. Can this offense finally get fixed? Well, we're going to have to kind of wait and see how this shakes out. Let me give a real quick shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's going to be none other than Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times your payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF, and you'll get up to a $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. Everything will be in the description below of this video. Let's continue the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Now, shout out here to Sleeper. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. We got VE in the chat. Says, if we trade Kyler, he will do great on another team. And the quarterback we draft will have the same issues we are having. I mean, that's a possibility. Yeah, that's a possibility. But what do you want, right? I guess that's the question out there. What do you want as a Cardinal fan? Do you want this organization to make a move because what's happening right now isn't working? Or are you okay with the mediocrity that we're putting out on the field? Like, I guess that's the big question that you really got to ask yourself, right? But I understand on the other side of the coin, it can get worse. It can get worse. Absolutely. I'm not going to come out here and say that Kyler Murray is the bottom of the barrel when it comes down to quarterbacks in the NFL, because that's not true. Kyler Murray is a middle of the line quarterback that can win games in the NFL, but everything's got to be perfect around him. Everything's got to be perfect around him. And unfortunately, if it doesn't, or if it's not perfect around him, then we're kind of seeing the results of what we're seeing here, right? So, two things can be true, right? Zay Talk in the chat says, I want Petzing gone. Okay. Well, what's the plan? Let me ask you this, Zay Talk. Appreciate you for being here. What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? Okay, we fire Petzing. What then? What's the plan then? Okay, Petzing gone. We elevate somebody, or we wait for McDaniel to get fired. If that's the plan, like, what's the plan? Okay. So we fire Petzing. let's say within the next 3 weeks it doesn't get fixed, right? I think we can beat the Titans, but the Colts ain't going to be an easy one. The Green Bay Packers ain't going to be easy, although I don't believe they're as juggernaut as we thought they were maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Okay, well, let's say we fire him. What's the plan? You bring in somebody else, you elevate somebody else, and then what? We learn that new scheme? We learn that new scheme out there that it's probably going to take us another, year to kind of master? Or is this scheme that complex that they just can't figure it out? Like, what's the plan? Shadow in the chat says, overhaul the entire offensive group management team. Well, here's the thing. what are you going to get? You're going to get a protege of Petzing. That's what you're going to get. You fire him now, you're going to get a protege of Petzing, right? Because you're going to elevate somebody, right? That probably has his philosophies, that probably has that playbook. Like, but what's the plan? Robert in the chat says, fire everyone after the season. Okay, well, I mean, I'm cool with that, especially if the season doesn't turn out the way that it has. Okay, here we go. Okay, fire Petzing, elevate someone until elevate someone until a good OC comes available, but Petzing's play calling is terrible, and the wide receiver coach should be on the block as well. Okay, so fire Petzing, elevate someone until a good OC comes available. Okay, so by that you mean Mike McDaniels, right? Because I'm already hearing people, oh, he might get fired, right? Let's see if Mike McDaniel gets fired, and maybe you can jump on him, right? Okay. I mean, that's a solid plan on paper, but do you think that Mike McDaniel is going to be rolling this same offense, or is he going to be bringing a completely different playbook? We know how long it took for the Cardinals to get to the level that we're in now. Like, we know how long it took for them to quote unquote master, learn this playbook. It's just, there's something off here. There's something off with the way that when the ball is snapped, the plays are being read, the situational of the offense being ran, something's broken. Something's broken. So maybe when you elevate somebody, indeed, the person calling the plays is better at situational play calling. Okay, maybe. But let's be real with ourselves. You fire Petzing. Okay, we're probably going to continue to be in the same situation. We probably are. And guess what? The excuses will turn on something else. Oh, well, now we have an inexperienced offensive coordinator. Or let's say somebody else tries to tweak the scheme and they want to be a little bit more of a balanced offense. Oh, well, we got to learn. It's just, I feel like it's going to be a constant revolving of excuses over and over and over and over again. When this was the year that this offense was supposed to get their stuff together. This was the year. This was the year. Claymore in the chat says, why don't you just admit this falls on the head coach? I mean, who didn't admit that? I'm not going to come out here and say that the head coach just shouldn't take a hit for this offense. I've said this on multiple different videos, especially after he came to the aid of Drew Petzing. I said this. Okay, well, you just laid your bed. You came out and you said that you thought that Drew Petzing had the best playing or game plan, or the way he called the game on the 49ers. That was his best he's ever seen. I was like, oh, that's where you lost me. That's where you lost me, Jonathan. If you're really going to come out here and try to insult the intelligence of obviously Cardinal fans and just people watching what they're seeing on television, I'm not going to come out here and say that Drew Petzing doesn't have any fault. He does. Absolutely he does. Situationally, he's not the best at what he's doing. He's not. There's a lot of moments during the game that are just really downright dumb and predictable, right? You can't do a H-back dive, right? You can't send somebody in the middle of, and when you got a stack box, 7-8 people, they're waiting for you. You can't. And we've seen Petzing do that. So I'm not going to come out here and say, no, don't fire him. It's just, I don't think it's going to solve it. I don't think it's going to resolve the issues that we're trying to get. I could be wrong. But this is unfortunate, the situation that we're now having to try to read between the lines and figure out what's the problem. When honestly, I don't even think the Cardinals organization knows what truly the problem is. Or maybe they do, but they don't want to come out and say it because they love to keep things in-house, right? So maybe they do. Maybe they understand what's happening. I mean, we already heard Jonathan Gannett came out and say that it's execution. Jonathan Gannett doesn't think it's play calling. He thinks it's execution. So if this season doesn't get right, I'm okay with Gannon getting the block. Because guess what? The Ravens right now are 1-3. The Ravens are going through so many injuries right now on the defensive side of the ball that they did not look like a team to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs. They did not look like a team that's going to compete with Kansas. Is John Harbaugh going to finally get fired? Is he going to be available next year for a potential coach? I don't know. Is he? Is John Harbaugh going to be available next year to potentially be a coach? I promise you, somebody's going to swoop him up real quick if he does become available. The Ravens aren't starting off great right now. 1-3 after getting a whipping by the Chiefs. John in the chat says you can't execute play calls. I mean, let me ask you this, John. What is in your mind, shitty play call? What's a shitty play call? Let me ask you that. What's a shitty play call? Fire everybody except for Rallis. I do like Rallis. I really do. And even when he did not have a lot of talent, the defense still looked pretty solid. They weren't great, but they looked pretty solid. So let me ask you this: what in your mind? What does this mean? Like you're just saying that every play call that's called, even the completed ones, even the touchdowns, even the fade route over to Marvin, that was really nice call. That's all shitty? Serious question. I think this is kind of the problem, but every 3 years is kind of, we're always in the same situation. Every 3-4 years, we're always back in the same situation. But guess what? The 2 or 3 years that leads up to this, it's always the same. It's always the same. Chum in the chat says a run on 3rd and long. That's not good. That's not good. But like I said before in multiple videos, I don't think this coaching staff truly believes in their. I don't think they believe that Kyler won't make a mistake. I think that's why they're playing so darn conservative. And it's not like it's one time. It's every single time it's 3rd and long. Every single time we're behind the chains, whether it's 1st and 20, 1st and 17. This is the proof of the pudding, unfortunately. It's run, pass, or run, pass, run. I don't know if they trust him. And that's my interpretation of what we're seeing. Should they? Yeah, put it in his hands. Let him convert that 1st down. 1st and 17, 1st and 20, 2nd and 17. I don't care. Let him go. Let him rip it. If he throws multiple interceptions, then okay, we know. We know, right? But playing conservative and trying not to get these 1st downs, you're pretty much calling that play dead. You're pretty much just calling that play dead right now. or giving up on a specific drive. Kyler Murray right now, his stats for 4 weeks, 742 yards. Not bad. No, actually, yeah, 742 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He is ranked 23rd. He's ranked 23rd in all quarterbacks in the NFL in terms of the yardage at 742. He's ranked number 23rd. He's ranked number 12 with 6 passing touchdowns at 12th. And he's tied for 40th with 3 interceptions. QBR rating, he's ranked 24th. You know what's funny to me? No, ain't nobody talking about QBR anymore. Remember everybody's talking about QBR? Oh, it's QBR. QBR. He's got the best QBR, Mike. Stop that. Well, now, 45.7. Where's the QBR boys at? Where are the QBR boys at? Per ESPN, he's got a QBR of 45.7. I'm not going to come out here and say that Kyler Murray is not going to win us multiple games, because I still do think he can win us games. Can we win the big games? Can we win the November, December football? Can we win a playoff game? Well, unfortunately, we just haven't been able to see it. We haven't been able to see it. Oh, here we go. Banger super chat coming our way. We got, I apologize, I don't want to butcher this. Marau Koraro. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher it. I apologize. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. They say this. Something that's been somewhat hot. Alvin Kamara could be a possible replacement for Connor. Yep. Talked about this in the last video that we just posted. I believe it was on Friday. We talked about this a little. I wouldn't mind going after Kamara. I feel like that would be actually really good or cool. Saints backup running back has been having great games for them, and fans have been talking about having him be running back number 1. Yeah, I mean, there's a real possibility. There's absolutely a real possibility. There's absolutely a real possibility that Kamara can get moved. Here we go. Moru Kokoro. Oh, that's... Appreciate you, Moru. Thank you so much for the super chat. But no, you 100% right. There's a lot of talks. A lot of talks about Alvin Kamara could potentially get moved. And that's the thing. I also put blame on Monty, too. I put blame on Monty Austin-Ford as well. In year 1, I was on the train of let Monty cook. Because it was a new face. It was a new guy coming in here, and I was ready to kind of go all in and say, okay, lead us. Get us there, right? Now, honestly, I'm looking at Monty Austin-Ford too. I'm looking at Monty. I'm looking at JG. I'm looking at those coaching staff. I'm looking at everybody here. Yeah. But here's the question. Will Monty do it, right? Will Monty Austin-Ford do it? That's the question out there. I would love to get Alvin Kamara. Hopefully before it's too late. I think we can start off 3-2. Or at least, call me blindly optimistic, but I think we can take care of... I think we can go ahead and take care of the Titans. Fingers crossed. Appreciate the super chat, Moru. Malls in the chat says the draft offensively was rough. We didn't go anybody. I mean, we went one offensive player, and unfortunately, he's on IR. With Connor, is it Connor Hayes? Right? Connor, it was the guard. Shout out to him. That's it, though. That's it. We went one offensive piece. That's it. That's it. And here's the thing, right? People come to this channel to hear a different perspective, right? Because I almost promise you, I don't think anybody's talking like I'm talking, right? I'm trying to be real here. I think there's a bright spot if the Cardinals can figure it out. Truly, I think the Cardinals can. There's a bright spot if the Cardinals can figure it out. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I really do. But if they keep doing what they're doing, it ain't going to fix itself. It isn't. I'm sorry. But Kyler Murray is still having really not great body language. I don't see Kyler Murray go to his wide receivers. And here's the thing, I'm not there at the sidelines, so I can't really say all the time. I'm only giving a glimpse of the little times that we see Kyler on TV with the camera, when the camera allows it to, right? And when things are good, we see Kyler Murray there. We see Kyler Murray dabbing people up. Things are good, super excited. But when things are bad, that's when we need the veteran presence. That's what we need our quarterback to come out here and say, let's go, guys. We can figure this out. I don't need to see Marvin on one side and Kyler on the other side. No, sit with each other when things are bad and try to figure out what's happening. Try to figure it out. That's what I want to see from my QB. I'm done with Grumpy Cat. I'm done with him sulking when things don't go his way. I get it. I'm frustrated too. As a Cardinal fan, I'm frustrated. Because ain't no way any other organization or fan base is going to accept what we're accepting. We're accepting mediocrity. The same things we just dealt with Cliff. And I know some people would rather have Cliff here than Petsing. Okay, I'll give you that, I guess. Because that does seem like an offense that flourishes with Kyler. Did the Cardinals make a mistake bringing in Petsing in here and try to go run heavy? Right? Did the Cardinals make a big mistake? I mean, what were we told? We were told, and Kyler was on board, that he doesn't need to play Superman. He was on board. Kyler was completely 110% on board. He came out and said, this is a good offense. I'm on board. I don't need to play Superman. I'm trying to stay healthy. Well, year 2 didn't really work out last year. This year says he wants to run more, and he has been running more, which thankfully he's running more, and he's looked really good and explosive. Had a lot of good explosive plays. The problem is that what's more important to me is wins. That's more. I don't care if Kyler Murray has 150 yards, 175 yards. What's the most important stat to me is wins, because that's what I care about. So let's see what happens. Let's go with Grayson with the super chat. Woo! Another $10 banger, or $9.99. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much for the super chat saying this. Fire Drew Petzing and get a new O-line. I'm down with that. I mean, I'm cool with it. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm cool with it. Here's the thing. We are just getting some news here that the Arizona Cardinals are opening up a practice window for Bilal Nichols. Bilal Nichols last year, one of our big-time acquisitions along with Justin Jones. Per Darren Urban, the Cardinals are opening up his practice window. So what does that mean? The Arizona Cardinals have 21 days to activate him to the final 53. Or not final 53, to the 53-man roster. Right? 21 days from today, or maybe tomorrow, to activate him to the 53. If he does not get activated to the 53, then he's on IR for the remaining of the season. Good news? Yeah, good news. You know, more defensive line pieces. He was supposed to be brought in to help stop the run. Hopefully he can continue to do that for the Cardinals. Fingers crossed. But that's good news. But Walter Nolan, no update on him yet. Justin Jones, no update on him yet. B.J. Ojulari, no update on them yet. So, step in the right direction. Appreciate the super chat there. Grayson, thank you so very much for the super chat. Michael in the chat says, not sure why Nolan isn't included there. Calf injuries are so tough, man. That's the only thing I could say. Is it Justin Jones too? Did I read that wrong? I'm just seeing Bilal Nichols. I'm not seeing Justin Jones. I don't see Justin. Um, I got to reread this article. That's what I got to do. I don't see Justin. All I see is Bilal Nichols. I could be wrong. And once I do a little bit more updating or looking in, yeah, I'm just seeing right now that it's Bilal. Cool. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what Bilal Nichols can do for us. Chum in the chat says, was Clayton Adams the glue for the O-line? I mean, here's the thing, right? And this is a valid question because of the situation that we're in right now. Let's be real. The offensive line hasn't been great. It hasn't. Specifically that right-hand side. It hasn't been great. Isaiah Adams did enough in training camp to win the job at right guard. He did. I don't know if I could say the same thing for Jonah Williams, but like I said before, I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are trying to get a circle and try to fit it in a square-shaped box. They're trying so hard to make sure this works. And maybe because the Cardinals don't want to admit that another free agent didn't really work out under the Monty Ossenfort, tenure, maybe. I don't know. Do they really think he's better than Kelvin Beachum? I don't know. I mean, every time Kelvin Beachum's got an opportunity, he flourishes. He does well. So ideally, I think what can help get an injection to this team is getting the offense better, getting this run game going and getting better, because right now the run game is very, very bad. It's not good. But you plug and play Will Hernandez in there at right guard, and you switch out, for the love of God, Jonah Williams and put Kelvin Beachum in there. That's what I would feel like would give an injection to this team. And I don't know if you guys noticed, because I did not see this until I actually watched Thursday Night Football. Did y'all know that Michael Carter was actually elevated to this roster? I didn't know that. I didn't know Michael Carter was elevated. Yeah, he's elevated now. Let's go, Michael Carter finally getting an opportunity. Let's go. We were all clamoring and fighting for Michael Carter to finally get an opportunity last year. Unfortunately, he didn't make the cut. Unfortunately, he didn't make the 53 back in September or August this time around. But because of the injury of Connor, now we're here. Cool. Another one.
Another one.
Appreciate the super chat. Moru, thank you so very much for another $10 banger. Jeez. Let's go. Appreciate you. Thank you so very much. 1, trade for a veteran guy in a needed position. Running back, offensive tackle, offensive guard. 2, fix the offensive scheme for second and third in long situations. I like that. That right there is actually more important than you might think. Truly. That right there is probably a lot more important than you might think. There's too many drives that are being deflated because the Arizona Cardinals aren't doing anything in second or third down when it is second and 17, second and 15, third and 10, third and... Yes, 100% agree. Hallelujah. Yes, I agree. Number 3, be aggressive during the trade deadline. 4, practice Marv in hard catches. Ooh, I like that. One thing that I have noticed is that Marvin Harrison Jr., after catching that ball, and multiple other people noticed it as well, right? Multiple other people noticed it as well. The moment that Marvin Harrison Jr. made that contested catch in the end zone, there was almost a sigh of relief coming from Marvin Harrison Jr. A sigh of relief that he came down with that ball. When doubt gets in your mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a good place to be. If you start doubting yourself and you're seeing all these naysayers saying that you can't do it, that starts to creep into your mind. And you start to doubt that if you can truly do it. Truly. And I said this on my last stream, and I believe it was on Friday, will not call Marvin Harrison Jr. a bust. Although, do I feel like he could have been better? Do I think he's got some flaws still to his game? Yes. But here's the thing. I'm not going to be one to shy away from those flaws, and I'm going to point them out when needed. But one thing I will not do is call this guy a bust unless I start seeing him with a different scheme, quarterback, whatever the situation is. Just like we granted Kyler the grace that he's been given, 7 years, different QBs, different OCs, different scheme, I will not give up on Marv. I still think he was the right pick. I still do think that he's learning. I still think he's got the weight of his shoulders, and that's on Monty for not bringing in somebody else on the wide receiver. And the excuses that are, we don't value wide receivers. I don't think that's truly correct. I think the Cardinals want to get the explosive game going. They just can't. Whether that's the downfall of the wide receivers or not, we know that Michael Wilson can be a solid 2.5, 3 wide receiver, whatever the situation is. But it's the proof of the pudding that we're in right now. Monty Ossenfort did not add any new additions in this offseason. Moles, another super chat coming our way with the $1.99 donation. Appreciate you, man. Source of our issue, Bidwell. He needs to sell. Well, we all know Michael Bidwell is not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
100%. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of know that, every since the Bidwells have been the owner, the stigma is that they're cheap, that they're not actually wanting to win. Although I prefer Michael over Bill, right? RIP. I prefer Michael over. It's just still, like, the decisions that are being made are not enough to get us on a consistent win. And there's a reason why this fan base is not as, I'm not going to say diehard, but it's not as big as the other organizations out there. Like the 49ers, that fan base is equally 3 or 4 times as big as this one, maybe even more. Seahawks, same thing. They at least got some hardware in 2013. Something like that, 2012, 2013, 2014, somewhere around that range. They got some hardware. Rams, same thing. They got some hardware. The 49ers, they were close to getting it multiple times, but they didn't get it. There's a reason why the Arizona Cardinals fan base is as small as it is. And yeah, I mean, there is some blame to go around with the Bidwells. 100%. The decisions that they're making, the coaches that they hire, the draft picks that they bring in, it just doesn't coincide with what's happening. Unfortunately, we still haven't seen Walter Nolan. Now, will we hear that Walter Nolan's practice window is going to open up later on? Maybe. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Right? Well, there's all hope. But as of right now, this defense for the Arizona Cardinals had multiple opportunities to pack it in and say, hey, nah. We had too many injuries to overcome. Shout out to the defense for the Arizona Cardinals for sticking through. They have done wonders. Wonders. But this offense needs to get their stuff together. Ian in the chat says, Cards are fair weather. Yeah, I mean, we know that State Farm Stadium can get packed. We know that it can get packed. It's got to be a really good season. It really does. And I was there on Thursday Night Football. That stadium was not near capacity. It wasn't. No. And there was a lot of Seahawks fans there too. There was a lot of green. There was a lot of neon green there too. Even in my section, I was sitting at the touchdown area. There was a lot of Seahawks there. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to straight up, but yeah, I mean, that's just kind of unfortunate, the stigma of the Arizona Cardinals. Fandom, fan base, whatever the situation is. They show up when we're good. The expectations this year is that we're supposed to be good. Through 4 weeks, we haven't seen or proved that we are good. So a lot of those guys, those fans, unfortunately aren't coming here to help protect the nest, quote unquote. But I'm not going to come out here and try to tell people how to spend their money. It's people's money. I'm not going to come out here and say, support your team. That's not I can care less. Michael Bidwell, if you want people to come support your team, you got to have a constant winner. And believe it or not, there's a lot of portions of this fan base that does not believe in the current quarterback state. It's the proof of the pudding. And for the people out there that are Kyler Murray fans, just Kyler Murray fans, and probably would follow him if he goes away, all I can say is, see ya. Nice to know ya. If you're a Kyler Murray fan but stay with the Cardinals even after he leaves, then you're the real one. You're the real one. Kyler Murray brought in a younger group of new fans because of what he can do with his legs. And he's explosive. He is. He's got the flashes. How do I summarize Kyler's career? It's flashes. It's flashes of brilliance, but it's not sustainable. That's what we need. We need some consistency and to be able to win those November, December football games. That's what we need. Let's keep it with the chat. Claymore in the chat says, why spend all that money to watch them lose? Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I would follow K1, but I'm going to be a Cards fan. Cool. You know, I personally would also follow his career myself. I would, because I'm actually kind of curious. And it's more curiosity, right? It's not like I'm saying you better win and prove the Cardinals wrong. It's just more curiosity. I would follow his career. I would be like, okay, you know, what's going to happen? It's kind of like that neighbor that likes to peer over, right? Like I would follow and I would see how he does. I wouldn't root for his team, but I would. Because on paper, he's got all the intangibles to be a really, really good quarterback. On paper, he does. It's just, how long can you be patient? How long is too long, right? When you got Stephen A. Smith coming out here saying that the Cardinals have hit their ceiling with K1, I'm not saying Stephen A. Smith is end all be all, but now you're starting to feel the flames. You're now starting to feel the hot seat coming from national media. And that right there, it's on its own beast. That's his own thing going on. Fred in the chat says, I think we'll go 13-4. Woohoo! Love the optimism. Moru in the chat says, Titans will make or break our season. Well, let's hope make is what we're looking for. Right? 1 week at a time. And let's go from there. Context. Seeing the Texans play them, Cardinals need to outperform them against the Titans. Agree? Agree, buddy. Agree. All right. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, let's close up shop right here. Another shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, the guys that are keeping the lights on. Sleeper. Make sure you check them out. Everything will be in the description below if you want to go and try them out. They do got a little bit of restrictions here in AZ, so just FYI. But if you do want to check them out, make sure you go ahead and everything will be in the description below to go ahead and make sure you take advantage of it. I know there's a lot more viewers outside AZ as well. That's why they are still sponsoring us here. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You guys are all absolutely amazing. Let's close up shop right here. We do got some news to get to, and hopefully by 2:45, we will get a little bit more news here from Jonathan Gannon. But as of right now, it's kind of wait and see. All right, y'all. You guys are all amazing. You're all the real ones. Thanks as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals.
Hey. Yeah. Let's see how you doing.